The prophet Yeshayahu, in his book of Isaiah, speaks about the restoration of Yerushalayim, and in its 54th chapter makes the following comment. Aniyas ora lo nuchama, O Jerusalem, the poor and tempestuous one. Lo nuchama, you have not been consoled. But there will come a time, hine onochi marbitz bafuch avanayich, there will come a time in which I will lay stones of fair colors all around you, visatich besapirim, and lay your foundations with sapphires. The prophet continues and proclaims in the name of God, Besamti kadkod shimshosayich, and I will make your walls out of rubies. But the word kadkod is a word that's not really known in Tanakh, and the word shimshosayich can mean many things. And so the Talmud in Baba Batra on Daf Ayin Hey on page 75a tries to explain this verse. What does it mean, Vesamti kadkod shimshosayich? What does it mean that God will make your walls out of stone of rubies? Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani says, Pligi trei malachi berakia, that there's an argument in the heavens about what exactly this verse means. An argument between Gavriel and Michael. And some say that it's not just an argument in the heavens, but trei amarei b'ma'arafa, but also amongst the Amorites, the Amoraim, that lived in Israel. Uman inhu, and who are those Amoraim? Yehuda v'Chizkiyahu. Yehuda and Chizkiah, the children of Rabbi. Chad Amar, one says that the stone kadkod represents the stone of Shoham, the onyx stone, B'chad Amar Yashbeh, and one says that it represents the jasper stone. And so there is this argument of exactly what the stone represents. And the Talmud continues that the angels in heaven who are having this conversation and this machlokas come to God and ask him, what exactly is the stone that speaks about the future redemption of Jerusalem? Amar Lahu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God says, Lahave kedain uchedain. It is not the Shoham stone or the Yashba stone, but rather a hybrid of these two stones that will cast great illumination and celebrate the beginning of the redemption of Jerusalem and the people of Israel. What exactly is the code in this comment of Yeshayahu, in this explanation in the tractate of Baba Batra? Rav Shmuel Eidel's, the Marsha, who lived from 1555 until 1631, explains the following. That this code represents the fact that these two stones, the Shom and Yashbeh, were found in the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol, of the high priest. One representing the tribe of Yosef, and the other representing the tribe of Binyamin. The Shoham is Yosef's stone in the Kohen's breastplate, and the Yashbeh is the stone of Binyamin in the Kohen's breastplate. And the Marsha states, Kavanah zu, the message that the prophet is trying to tell us, the message that God is trying to communicate by saying it's a hybrid of two stones. The Begeula HaRevi'i, that the final redemption of the Jewish people, Yetchila or Yisrael Ayedei Mashiach ben Yosef, it will begin with the stone of Yosef, the Messiah, the son of Joseph, Va'oro Yerushalayim, and the light of Jerusalem, Shehu B'chalko Shel Binyamin, that is in the portion of Binyamin, in the portion of Benjamin, divided amongst the tribes. And so the message is the following, says the Marsha, that essentially if you want to know the symbol of the redemption of the Jewish people, of the final redemption of our people, know that Jerusalem will represent, that the state of Israel will represent the merging of the stone of Joseph and the stone of Benjamin. You see, the stone of Joseph represents materialism. Yosef is always there as the physical protector of the Jewish people. He is known as Mashiach ben Yosef. He is there to make sure that the people of Israel have the physical sustenance that they need to sustain themselves. That is his job in Egypt, and that is his legacy, and the legacy of his tribe. And so the first prerequisite of this kadkod is that it should be the stone of Shoham. It should be the stone of Yosef. And that we should feel safe and have the financial capacity in our own land. One only needs to look at all the statistics to see the beauty, thank God, and the growth of the startup nation and what has been accomplished over this past generation in the land of Israel, becoming a leading economic power. But that's not enough for the Jewish people, because the Kadkod is not just the stone of Yosef, it's not just the physical, but it's also the stone of Benjamin, which represents the Beit HaMikdash, the temple, which represents the idea of Jerusalem. It is the synergy, the sacred synergy, between the physical and the spiritual. The fact that we live at a time in which there is more Torah happening in Jerusalem and in Israel than even in the time of the second Beit HaMikdash. The fact that the call of Torah, the voice of Torah, resonates by both men and women throughout Jerusalem and throughout Medinat Israel. Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, from Zion comes Torah, is no longer an aspiration and a dream, it's a fact and a reality. And so the prophet says, you want to know when Jerusalem will represent the capital city of the Jewish people? Samti Kadkod, when there is a hybrid between the stone of Yosef, the physical, and the stone of Binyamin, the spiritual, merging together. When we recognize the fact that without the sacred, the mundane is purposeless, and without the mundane, there's no need for the sacred. Indeed, Yerushalayim is representing for all of us and for all society the idea of being not only a startup nation when it comes to finances, but a startup nation when it comes to sharing values and the values of Torah. Maimonides tells us, when he discusses the first rabbinic holiday, the holiday of Purim, he tells us the following, that it will come a time in the time of Mashiach, a controversial statement by Maimonides in Hochot, Megillah, v'Chanukah, that Kol Sifrei Hanaviyim v'Chol HaKetuvim Atidim Libatel Limot Mashiach, in the time of the Messiah, in the final messianic period of time, that all the books of Nach, of Nevi'im and Ketuvim, not the 5 books of the Torah, Chas v'Shalom, but all the books of Nach, Atidim Libatel, will no longer be part of the curriculum. Limot Mashiach, in the time of Messiah, Chutz min Megillat Esther, except for the book of Esther, Harehi Kayemet, it will exist for all eternity, Ki Chamisha Chumshei Torah, like the 5 books of the Torah, Uke Halachot Shel Torah Shebal Peh, and all the laws of the Torah, She'enam B'Teilim L'Olam, that will never be null and void. What exactly is Maimonides telling us when it comes to this first rabbinic holiday, which is essentially the blueprint for all rabbinic holidays, be it Chanukah, be it Yom Ha'atzmaut, or Yom Yerushalayim? Essentially what Maimonides is telling us, the difference between Megillat Esther and the other books of Nach, the other books of the Nevi'im and Ketuvim, is that in Megillat Esther, God's name is not found once. And while in the other books of the prophets, it is God who is proclaiming what we should do, the unique characteristic of the book of Esther is the fact that Mordechai and Esther, and indeed all the Jewish people, find God in themselves. They connect to God. Each one has kimu v'kiblu. Each one reunites with God, creates a romantic rendezvous with God. And if you want to understand, says Maimonides, what will bring Mashiach, it's not enough just to listen for the voice of God. It's the responsibility to march to the voice of God, to take our leadership roles, and to recognize the fact that we have a responsibility to make a difference in the world by finding God in the most treasured place that he wants to be, and that is inside our hearts and our souls. Each of us should ask ourselves the question, what do we do to move the personality of Yerushalayim forward? How do we make sure that we never forget Yerushalayim? Let us not wait for external symbols from external manifestations. Let us recognize it is the responsibility of each and every one of us, no matter where we live, to be citizens of Yerushalayim, to carry the mantle of the Kadkod, and to recognize the fact that we bring the Mashiach through our actions, through our character, through our charisma, and through making sure that the values of Yerushalayim are found in all of our homes and in all of our communities. Chag Sameach.